My name's Glenn Tozer. I'm the local Gold Coast City Councillor for Mudgeeraba, Highland Park and the hinterland. I'm proud to present the first in what should be a series of films about the history of our beautiful region. Locals just like you have approached me regularly over the past 18 months and told me how much they love our local area. The country hospitality, the parks and natural features, and the village charm, which is ideal for raising a family and community living. The purpose of these films is to highlight the legacy of local Gold Coast families who built this reputation over many generations. I hope that families like yours and mine can build on this legacy over the years to come. I'll let the story tell itself, but the film's about Jack and Joan Rudd and their family, and they should be commended for their willingness to be involved in the project. If you like what you see, I encourage you to get down to the Mudgeeraba Heritage Museum on a Sunday and talk to Jack and Joan and the team about other stories that make our history come alive. I'm sure they'd love you to help out and volunteer your time to be a part of the projects down at the museum. I'd also like to acknowledge our local filmmaker, Salvador, and his team from Digital Cinematics, who did a great job with the film on a very tight budget. Thanks for watching. I hope your family grow to love our local area and the stories that make it come alive as much as my family does. Enjoy the show.
Mudgeeraba village sits on the foothills of the Gold Coast magical hinterland. It's the gateway to the Springbrook rainforest, travelling west from the golden beaches of the Great Southeast. Mudgeeraba is special because of the community of people who live here, having held onto its pioneering history through a living legacy rich in story and community spirit. This documentary feature aims to recollect Mudgeeraba's living history by reminiscing with two descendants from its pioneering families. Joan and Jack are direct descendants of the early pioneers who settled this area of hinterland in the mid to late 1800s. Joan and Jack are fourth generation Australians and active members of the Mudgeeraba community, dedicated to keeping their ancestors' pioneering legacy alive. In this featurette, Joan and Jack invite us into their home for a warm cup of tea and to reminisce some of the stories which have shaped their lives. Joan's great-great-grandfather, William Duncan, along with Edmund Harper, have been recognised as some of the first white men to traverse this area of hinterland while searching for valuable cedar trees in the early to mid-1840s. With the help of local Indigenous families, they were able to trek on foot from the back of Tweed, through Numinbah Valley, then inland to Nerang. The help of Indigenous people was instrumental for Duncan and Harper. Throughout the years, strong bonds were formed and a mutual exchange of knowledge, goods, labour and a genuine companionship began to occur, so much so that Duncan and Harper learnt the Indigenous languages fluently and passed them down through the generations in their families. Joan explains.
Sandy Duncan, the eldest son of William, you couldn't tell the difference between the Aborigines and them speaking, so they knew the language quite well. And over those years, it has been passed down through the generations, and we still say Aboriginal words when we speak. Burrubi is a koala, Yalgra is a goanna, and things like that. And that's just part of our legacy, our history. Yeah.